Hello, this is Mrs. Decker, and this is Objective 3D. I can use different methods to find pH. So I want to start by talking about pH and pOH scales. The pH scale is used to measure the strength of an acid, and it is based on the hydrogen ion concentration, or the H+ concentration. The scale ranges from 0 to 14. Neutral substances fall right in the middle of the pH scale at 7. Acids will have a lower pH than 7, and bases will have a higher pH than 7. Similarly, pOH is a scale that is used to measure the strength of a base, and it is based on the hydroxide ion concentration, or the OH- concentration. This scale also ranges from 0 to 14. So the scales are opposite from each other in the fact that 7 is still neutral in both the pH and the pH scale, but on the pOH scale, acids will have a pOH of higher than 7 and bases will be lower than 7. So this graphic shows you the range of the pH scale and then some common substances and where they fall on the pH scale. So here is our 7. This is our neutral. So pure water should be exactly 7. Milk will be just slightly acidic, just less than 7. And blood is slightly basic with a pH of about 7.4. So as we go lower on the pH scale, we become more acidic. So coffee has a pH of about 5. Orange juice is just less than 3. Gastric juices, which are your stomach acids, are between a pH of 1 and 2. And then 1 molar HCl would be a pH of 0. As we increase pH from 7, we get into things like seawater, which should have a pH of almost 8. Detergents, ammonias, bleaches, any type of cleaners will be anywhere from pH of an 11 to almost 13. And then 1 molar NaOH, which is a strong base, will be exactly at 14. So now you will need to be able to calculate pH and pOH, or even the H+ concentration or OH- concentration. These are the 6 formulas that we have. They will be available to you. You will not have to memorize them. So let's talk about them. If you multiply the H+ concentration by the OH- concentration, you should get a constant. So this number will always be the same. It will never change. And then the pH plus the pOH of a substance will equal 14. That number will always be a constant as well. So if you are given the pOH and you're looking for the pH of a substance, you would just take 14 minus the pOH, and that would give you your answer for pH. If you have the H+ concentration and you are looking for the pH value, you will put negative log of the concentration of H+ into your calculator. If you have the OH- concentration and you put that into the negative log of the OH- concentration, that will give you the pOH. Then if you have pH or pOH, you would do 10 to the negative pH or pOH, and that would give you the H+ and the OH- concentrations respectively. So now, like I said, you will be given these equations. It is your job to know how to use them, because you might be given the OH- concentration of something and then asked to find the pH. There are a couple different ways you can do that, but you will need to use more than one equation to do that. So let's look at some example problems. So example number 1 says calculate the pH value and identify the solution as acidic, basic, or neutral. So the first solution, we have an H+ concentration of 1.0 times 10 to the negative 9th. So using our equations, we would use pH is equal to the negative log of the H+ concentration, which is 1 times 10 to the negative 9th. So our pH is 9, which is above 7, which makes this solution basic. Solution B has an OH minus concentration of 1.0 times 10 to the negative 6th. So we are going to find first the POH by putting it into the equation, negative log of the concentration, which is 1.0 times 10 to the negative 6th. So we get a POH of 6. So now we have to find the pH. So to do that, you would do 14 minus 6. That gives you a pH of 8, which is also a basic solution. Here's our next set of solutions. Now this problem asks us to find the pH and the pOH. So for solution A, we have the OH minus concentration. So we will first find the pOH by putting in negative log of 1 times 10 to the negative 3, which gives us a pOH of 3. And then to find the pH, we would do 14 minus 3, which gives us a pH of 11, and that would be a basic solution again. So now for solution B, we have an H plus concentration of 1.0 molar. So to calculate pH, we would do the negative log of 1.0, which gives us a pH of 0, which tells us that the solution is acidic. The problem also asks us to find pOH. So pOH we would find by doing 14 minus 0 gives us a pOH of 14. Example problem number 3 says the pH of blood is about 7.4. What is the pOH and the H plus concentration of human blood? So let's start by finding the pOH. We would just do 14 minus 7.4, which gives us a pOH of 6.6. Next, to find the H plus concentration, you would do 10 to the negative 7.4, which gives us an H plus concentration of 4.0 times 10 to the negative 8th. And now this is a concentration, so you need to have a unit to go along with it. And our concentration unit is molarity, so it would be capital M. pH and pOH are values that don't have units with them, so that would be just numbers. But if you're dealing with concentrations, you do need to remember to have your units, which is molar. Okay, so now the next page in your packet has some practice problems for you to work on, so let me know if you need some help.